Hi, I'm Mike, and today we're working on this 2011 Hyundai Tucson with all-wheel drive. The problem that it's having is it's having bad lower ball joints on both sides. So today we're going to be changing them. One of the symptoms that you may have if you have bad lower ball joints is the wheel itself will actually shake with just a little bit of pressure. So that's a pretty bad one, and because of that we're going to be changing it today. Okay, so another way you can check for bad lower ball joints in a vehicle like this is you just take a small pry bar and stick it in between the knuckle and the lower control arm, and light pressure. You can see all the movement in it right there. So that's enough for me right there to want to change this ball joint. Alright, so the first thing you want to do, get your vehicle on jack stands, remove the wheels. The first step's going to be to remove this cotter pin here and this pinch bolt. Okay, so the next step is to remove this bolt and these two nuts from the bottom, and then we want to get this nut off this pinch bolt and get that bolt through. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this bolt here. That bolt seems to be a little tight. Maybe the breaker bar to get that one loose. And just use a ratchet. Straighten this wheel. No.
It did.
Okay, so here's the old part that I just removed from the vehicle, and here's a new one. So the new part does look like the old part. The new one actually came with some hardware, a new pinch bolt, some new mounting hardware with locking nuts, And this one actually has a grease fitting that gets screwed on here. So with that said, we're going to install this one back in the vehicle. So here's another example of a bad ball joint here. It's real loose. There's some play in it. This one actually has a torn boot. I may have did that removing it. When you get a new ball joint, when they're new, they're extremely tight. Like this one, I can't even move it with my hands barely. So that's a lot tighter than that one. Okay, so the 3 mounting bolts. These 2 here are bolts with these lock nuts. This bolt here actually threads into this ball joint bracket itself. So what I'm gonna do with this one, I'm gonna put some Loctite on this guy. Some blue Loctite. Let's see. Okay, so the torque specs for these 3 bolts here is 70 foot-pounds. Okay. So the next step is to try to get this ball joint stud and this knuckle here.
Yeah.
Just about.
Chin.
Okay. Alright, so the next thing to do is to put the pinch bolt in. It has a washer and a lock nut. So the washer goes to the head side. Push in through the back. To the nut on this side. We're going to torque this one down to 75 foot-pounds. There it is. Put the grease zerk in, screws it in from the bottom. Nut drivers work pretty good for this, usually. So I'm just gonna switch over to a socket, finish tightening it up. Good. Give it a few pumps of grease. That should do it. Alright, so as you just saw, this job's not too difficult. I realize I have power tools, it makes it go easier. If you don't have power tools, you can get this job done with hand tools. Just gonna be more harder, difficult, and you're gonna have to be more patient with it, but you'll get through it. So that pretty much wraps up this job, and thanks for watching.